I've been shooting thunderstorms for over 20 years, and in this video I'm going to teach you how to capture beautiful photographs of lightning. I'll breeze through the basics and then get to some cool tricks I've learned. Thunderstorms are like lemons. You never know which way they're going to squirt. For the most part, taking pictures of lightning is like trying to catch the roadrunner. Open a box door, and when the bird goes inside, just close the door. Your camera's a box that captures light. If it's dark outside, just open your camera door or your shutter. When lightning strikes, just shut the door. That's the easy part. The hard part is finding a close location to shoot lightning without drenching your expensive electronics. The first thing you're going to want to get is a tripod. Lightning really likes tripods, and if you're standing next to one in an open field, you'll increase your chances of attracting a really close strike. Storms often occur in windy conditions that can jostle your gear all over the place. For sharp images without motion blur, the heavier the tripod, the better. These are not good for taking photos of lightning. You're going to want a camera that you can program the settings. Most DSLR and mirrorless cameras with manual setting options should work. Be sure and focus your camera in manual focus mode. In the dark, your autofocus might freak out and start focusing in and out real fast like a funky music video. The lower your ISO, the less sensitive your sensor will be, and the less noise there will be. This is all a good thing. An ISO of 100 is a good setting to begin with. Aperture is how big the hole is in your box. Start off in the middle, around f8. If lightning is striking far away and shows up too dim with these settings, open your iris more until all the branches are nice and bright. If your iris is open all the way and your branches are still not showing up very well, then start bumping up your ISO. How long you leave the shutter open depends on how much ambient light there is. If it's pitch black, you can leave the shutter open for 10, 20, 30 seconds or more, and every strike that occurs in your field of view during that time will be recorded. With digital cameras, the longer you leave the shutter open, the more that nasty noise tends to accumulate. You'll have to monitor what your camera is capable of. And of course, you can cheat out some of the noise in Lightroom. My favorite time to shoot lightning is at sunset. The magic hour colors make a spectacular backdrop. Because of all the existing light, you can only leave your shutter open a few seconds. With your camera setting on B or bulb, you can hold the shutter open indefinitely. Rather than do that, I set the shutter speed to a finite relative long duration, 2, 3, 4 seconds. That way each shot has the same exposure. You'll be glad you did that later on. If your meaty tripod is stable, and if you have a soft touch, you can risk manually pushing the shutter button with your finger. But if you're zoomed up at all, you'll risk getting a motion blur. So take an extra 4 seconds and plug in a cable release. But make sure you bring the right release. When it's just starting to get dark outside, I'll set the shutter at 1 or 2 seconds, take a test shot, and tweak the duration if necessary. Once the clouds have a great exposure, start snapping away like crazy. Anything that happens while your shutter is open is embalmed in your storage. As it gets darker, you can shoot longer and longer exposures. As you accumulate field experience, you'll start to realize that the greatest lightning strikes likes to strike in that short window between two exposures. Now that you know the basics, let's learn a few tricks. Before the turn of the century, most pros shot on 35mm slide film, little positive transparencies. I love the way slides capture lightning. On dark nights, I've left the shutter open for as long as 20 minutes. Because it's film, there's absolutely no digital noise, and you can capture dozens of strikes on one frame. My digital cameras pick up a lot more light pollution than film. If there's any rain, and there usually is, the grays get more illuminated. After 2 or 3 strikes in one shot, my images get washed out. If you want to capture a digital image with multiple discharges like this film slide, there's an option called stacking. After shooting a series of images locked off on a tripod, go through your files and pick out the ones with good contrasty strikes. Import them into Photoshop or whatever you use and drag the layers on top of each other. Then blend them together using your different blending options. The screen option and the lighten option usually work the best for me. The program blends all the images together into one. Sometimes you get goofy looking digital cloud artifacts, and other times if your strikes are clean, they melt together perfectly. It's a lot of fun messing around with stacking, but if you're gonna share a stacked image, you'll likely attract the nags of at least one grumpy purist. Many cameras have a built-in intervalometer that allow you to program a series of automatic photos. So rather than push a button every 2 seconds 200 times, you can take a minute and tell your camera to do it, and then go get yourself some raviolis while your camera does all the work. I confess I'm usually too excited and impatient, afraid I'm going to miss something awesome to walk through the intervalometer setup. And most of my best time-lapse animations were captured by manually pushing the button hundreds of times. Since you're shooting a frame every few seconds or so, you can place all your pictures side by side on a video time-lapse sequence. The result can be a spectacular, high-resolution time-lapse animation. After shooting video of lightning, you can walk through it frame by frame to see if you got a good still. If you did, you can take a screen grab of it and add it to your pictures portfolio. Adobe Premiere Pro couldn't make this any easier. Just push the camera icon, save, and boom. Most video cameras nowadays are equipped with a rolling shutter. That means that the frames you are capturing are recorded through a scanning process that rolls down the sensor. Though this process occurs really fast, lightning is much faster. The end result is annoying blocky rectangle thingies we call partial exposures. Most negative lightning discharges I capture on video are ruined with partial exposures, and thus quarantined in the appropriate location. Positive lightning channels and anvil crawler lightning tend to exist longer, thus are captured somewhat better by rolling shutters. While shooting video of lightning with a rolling shutter, I usually set the shutter speed at the frame rate. So if you're shooting at 30 frames per second, set your shutter at 30 and cross your fingers. Another option is to invest in a camera with a global shutter. A global shutter scans a snapshot of the entire scene all at once, so no partial exposures. The catch is you'll likely spend thousands of dollars, and the global shutter technology is not for low light sensitivity.
We're going to do our prediction for thunderstorms tomorrow the way the Storm Prediction Center does. Oklahoma, thunderstorms.
Back around 1995, we didn't have smartphones with radar scope. And we had to chase storms on horseback. It took months of trial and error before I finally captured my first lightning strike. After that, I was hooked. And here we are today. The hardest part for me was finding lightning occurring close enough to be dramatic, but not wrapped up in rain. Where I live in southeast Texas, most storms are high precipitation waterfalls. So I started venturing out west, seeking storms in the lower dew points. You can hunt storms for years, and then one magical day, you find that special storm that will make your entire previous portfolio irrelevant. This was my first Tornado Alley supercell shot back in May of 2001. I put a little extra time into the last video I uploaded, and I wasn't sure y'all were going to dig all the technical jargon and analysis. So to see the tremendously positive responses and comments really meant a lot to me. And I wish I could give something back to all y'all. So I am. Everybody is getting a free 2018 Pecos Hank Storm Calendar poster file for Christmas. It's a 24x16 high-res file. You can shrink it down and print it on your home printer or have someone else print it for you. I have mpix.com print all my stuff. They do excellent jobs and they're super cheap. All my storm photos that I sell on my website and hang in galleries were all printed by MPEX and arrive on my doorstep a few days later. And I think shipping is free for first-time users. I'll put directions in the description of where to download your free Christmas present. Well, I'd love to BS with you all day, but I'm going to Japan on Thursday, and then I'm going back to Thailand. Maybe this time I'll finally find a wild king cobra. Happy holidays to everyone around our world. Till next time, friends. Happy trails.